Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be showing you 5 simple tips to improve your shooting in football. Shooting is one of the most important techniques that you've got to be able to execute properly no matter what position you play in, because at the end of the day, goals are what win football matches. So I'll be showing you 5 key tips that is really going to improve your shooting once you're able to execute them properly. So let's get into the video. When you're shooting the ball, the first and the most important step is your approach to the ball. You have to make sure that you approach the ball at an angle and that you have space between you and the ball. Now, a lot of players make the mistake of not approaching the ball and the ball is too close to their foot. So in result, they're not able to generate enough power on the ball. And the reason for that is because there is no space between them and the ball. And it doesn't matter how hard you try to kick the ball, if there is no space, you will not be able to generate enough power on that ball. So for the first step, what I want you to do whenever you're shooting a ball is to make sure to tap the ball slightly away from your body. So in result, you're able to approach the ball with pace and generate that power that you want on the ball. The second tip that you can use to improve your shooting is to be making sure that your planting foot is beside the ball. Now, a lot of players make the mistake of having their planting foot too far away from the ball, and in result, they're off balance. Or their planting foot is too close to the ball, and in result, they don't have a clean contact on the ball. What I want you to do instead is to make sure whenever you're shooting, make sure that your planting foot goes beside that ball and make sure you have a little bit of space just to generate that power. So if you take a look here, as I'm shooting the ball, my planting foot goes right beside the ball, pointing towards my target, a little bit spaced out so that I can generate that power. If it's too far, you'll be off balance. If it's too close, the contact on the ball will not be clean, and the ball might even hit your planting foot. So the planting foot that I have right over there is the best example to use whenever you're shooting the ball. Now, if you're taking a shot while you're dribbling with the ball or while you're moving with the ball, you have to plant your planting foot slightly in front of the ball so that the ball rolls beside your planting foot as you strike the ball. So the timing has to be perfect, which comes with repetition and practice. Tip number 3 is your backswing. A lot of players make the mistake of not bringing their leg back enough and not having a big backswing when they want to shoot the ball. And in result, they're not able to generate enough power. The power always comes from the backswing, not from the follow through. So you always have to make sure that when you're striking that ball, your leg comes back and you really stretch that leg and you have a big backswing. So if you take a look at the difference here, in the first example, I have a big backswing, but in the second one, my backswing is not good enough. So you always have to make sure to stretch your leg back as far as possible. I always use the example of a bow. If you have a bow in your hand, the more you stretch that bow, the more power the arrow is going to have as you let it go. So it's the exact same thing when you're shooting a football. Tip number 4 is the area on your foot that you want to use to strike the ball. And that is the bone right above your big toe. Now, a lot of players have the misunderstanding that they have to use their laces to strike the ball whenever it comes to shooting with power. And the problem with that area is that you're not having a clean contact on the ball. And when you use the laces to strike the ball, you have a risk of injuring yourself because your toes might trip on the floor and you might injure your ankle. So it is crucially important to have a clean contact on the ball, and it is crucially important to use the correct part of the foot. So the area above the big bone is the correct area to strike the ball. Now the reason that a lot of players have a misunderstanding about this part is because if you look at this picture from behind without any explanation, you might think that I'm striking the ball with my laces. However, I'm striking the ball with the bone above my big toe, but you can't tell if you just look at the picture. Once you use that correct area, your contact will be so clean on the ball that the ball will be dead in the air. So make sure that your toes are flexed, pointing down and away from you, and you strike the ball with the bone above your big toe. Now the final tip to improve your shooting is to always make sure that your chest is above the ball as you strike the ball. Now a lot of players make the mistake of having their chest facing forward when they're striking the ball, and in result they're not able to generate enough power on the ball, and they're also not able to have their shot on target. The reason is because when you're leaning backwards, the ball will definitely go above the post. So it is crucially important that as you strike the ball, your chest goes above. And again, I want to repeat this because it's important that as you strike the ball, your chest must be above the ball. So it's not before you strike the ball, it's as you strike the ball, your chest goes above. And then once you follow through towards your shot, your chest continues to bend forward.